Look at that. It went to the wrong. It went to the wrong screen. Sorry about that. I have to change the setting there. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome in. It's House Edge Live with John from Casino Gaming TV, or Casino Gaming Central, rather. And here we are on a magical Monday. Now, I'm not going to apologize for this, but last year, right, as you all know, I'm a dual citizen, right? I'm from Philadelphia, moved to Seattle 25 years ago, so I'm literally half my life in both cities. Last year, I played the No One Likes Us Philly video every single day before the Super Bowl. This year, it's going to be all Seattle shit. I'm sorry about it, but it is what it is. And I'm wearing my good luck, my Mexican Seattle shirt here, which is kind of funny. If you can see this, it's a Mazatlan, Mexico misspelled Seattle Seahawks shirt, which is my favorite possession of all time. Anyway, good games yesterday. And actually, they weren't good games. One game was great. The Super Bowl was great, right? Did y'all enjoy the Super Bowl last night? It was an awesome game. And I said it last week, right? I said the Hawks would win that game by 2 scores, right? Now, if Woolen doesn't go barking at the bench and then giving up a 6 right after that, that is a 2-score game, right? It's almost 4. It would have been 11 points. Whatever, man. The better team won. It was a great game. It was really a clean game. There was one muffed punt, and that was it. Everything else in that game was really pretty clean, reasonably well officiated. It was good. The other game was horseshit. That Denver game was terrible. I mean, and I said this last week about, I think I was giving Jen a question in the chat about picking Levi Stadium for the Super Bowl, right? Which is kind of risky. Just like New York was risky when the Seahawks won it against Denver 13 years back. Having weather play a part in a championship game is awful. I mean, it's fun as a fan, I guess, to watch him slide around in the snow and not be able to see. But honestly, was that the best game you could have got? Was that the best outcome you could have got yesterday in that first game? It kind of sucked. I mean, it's too bad because I think Stidham actually was playing pretty well for what he had to do. And then at the end of that game, nothing. Like the third quarter, halfway through to the end of the game, 0 happened. And it's like you didn't really get a chance to see what those two teams are actually capable of. I don't know. I mean, it is whatever. It's fun, I suppose, but it's not good football, especially when you're deciding who's going to the Super Bowl. So anyway, it'll be a good one. This is the Super Bowl of the people that nobody seemed to give any credit to. Both teams. Right, I'm guilty of it. The Patriots, to me, I mean, they have played a really soft schedule this year, and they've gotten no love all year long. Drake May's a good quarterback, but that team has gotten no love all year. It's been like, oh yeah, whatever. They're not bad, right? The Hawks, same thing, right? They've been getting no love all year long, and they're not bad. It should be a good one. Yeah, I agree. It's part of the game, Duracell, but like, it just, when we have a game where you get 0 points because. Like once it was 10-3 and the snow came, and when the snow really started swirling around, you knew in the third quarter that's how the game's going to end. The game's going to end 10-3. You knew it in the third quarter, unless somebody slides around and gets something crazy happen. I was just kind of pissed about it. Just kind of, it is what it is. You're right, it is what it is. But it's like, damn it, I was just hoping for something. I don't know. I was griping about it all day yesterday. And it's just like, not that I cared who won that game or anything, but it's just whatever. All right, let's get to it here. What do I want to talk about today? I think we're doing some more ABCs of gambling stuff, right? In chat, how many of you guys are here? We have like 20 people watching or so. And again, if you're watching later, that's fine too. I'm going to redo the ABCs, but I'm going to do it with the ABCs of gambling channels, not just craps. Because the problem with if we do that, then you'll have like 50 C channels, right? I would love to do an ABCs of YouTube gambling if I can find ABC. I'm not sure if we can get all the letters filled in, but wouldn't it be cool to do like an ABCs and have like whoever, and I think maybe we'll do like mention all the channels that are in the letter A, but bring one of them on and have them as a guest and do like 26 kind of days of like me talking to people about their channel. It'd be kind of cool, right? I couldn't do everybody. It'd be impossible. But maybe like pick one rep from each letter and then kind of talk. I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that a good idea? As I'm going through the series, I'm really enjoying doing the ABCs. And I think there's so many good channels out there. And there's so many new ones out there that I haven't had time to really dig into. I'd love to meet some new people and maybe do that. So if you like the idea Let me know, thumbs up if you like the idea. And if you have channels you want to see that go with each letter, then put them out there in the chat, put them out there in the comments, or you can email me, john@procraps.net, and I'll start compiling the list and making some phone calls and that kind of thing. So I'd love to know who you want. And some of them are obvious, right? So there's W is going to be Waylon, right? K is going to be Ken. But who are we going to do for M and N and whatever else, right? So go do some research. Find out. I think G should be Gamble Smart. Love those guys, the slot guys. B, if I can get a hold of Colin for B, we'll do Blackjack Apprentice. I'd love to talk to that guy, right? There's lots of good channels out there. So let's highlight them all. Let's just do a little spotlight session on everybody. All right. All right. Let's get started here with today's ABCs of gambling. And I want to jump in quickly here and give you your daily reminder of why we're at this, right? And Ken from Ken Knows Gambling. Casinos suck, gambling sucks, right? I say this every day, and we got to remind ourselves, right? They exist to bankrupt you. Like the whole business model is about taking all your money. I read this great, or watched a great video the other day on math, of course, right? And, I've said for a while that if I ever had a casino, at least for part of the day, I would do a pure game, right? I'd do a craps game where all the bets paid true, right? Where you're 6 and 8 paid 6 to 5, and you're 5 and 9 paid 3 to 2, right? All the place bets. I'd even do the prop bets. I wouldn't even care, right? And I would still make money. I would still even with zero house edge, I would still make money. And the reason for that is math, right? The casino will bankrupt you because their big hammer is what? Their bankroll. And we talk about this when I get into like Waylon's kind of strategies, like the whole laddering system, or Dr. S plays one too. The laddering system is using your bankroll as a hammer because you've got a lot of money. You can ladder up and you can withstand some loss, right? The casino has unlimited money. Think about that. You buy in for $500 or 1,000, right? They've got $1 billion. Even in a fair game of just flipping a coin, who's going to win? Who's going to get bankrupted first? You or the casino? They have unlimited money. They will take your money. There won't be a house edge built-in profit, but they will take all your money. That's just the way that it is. Math, you can't beat it. Even in a fair game, you can't beat it. And the game, as we know, is not fair. So remember that. That business model is there to take everything you have, and they don't ask you on the way in, is this your mortgage payment you're buying in with, sir? They don't ask that. They just say, thanks for the money, and we're taking all of it. That's the whole game, right? So that battle that we have, right? What are you fighting with, right? You're fighting with the bridge. You're fighting with your brain. Today we're going to talk about some brain stuff, right? The bridge, your bankroll, how you view risk, how you feel about risk, right? How do you see opportunity to leave or to lean in, right? Do you have the discipline it takes to fight the battle the right way? Do you set goals? Do you keep your emotions in check? All these things, all that stuff matters big time. You're not going to ever beat them, even in a fair game. We know this, right? Can you take advantage of the variance when it comes? That's the question here. When you get a good one, a good lucky day, do you do the right things in those moments to walk out a winner and maybe stay ahead of the curve a little bit with a little bit of sustained luck and some smart moves? That's the idea, right? So with that said, we are in the ABCs of gambling. And today we're going to be on the letter M. The letter M today. Now, I love this series because it's making me have to do work again. I got to go back and research every day. What are some words that start with the letter today, M, that I can make good fun and sense of with you, right? So, and sort of not be boring, but like also still educate, right? So today is me math mindset type of stuff, right? We're going to cover quickly 5 math concepts that I think govern every bet that we make. We're going to talk about the martingale a little bit, of course. We'll talk about middling and this idea that don't pass players are on the casino side. We know that the house actually middles the game. Of course, I have to talk money management a little bit. We'll talk about casino markers, and we'll talk about mental strength a little bit. We'll close it up with a little bit about talk about mindset. So with that said, let's get into it here. And And yeah, oh, I didn't put up the words, I guess, right? So it's math. I should have math fundamentals, martingaling. I should have put this up earlier, right? Middling, money management, markers, mental strength, mindset, and here we go. All right, let's jump into the first one. And the first one is going to be math fundamentals. And let me start with this. You don't need to be a mathematician, okay? You don't need to understand calculus and all these complicated formulas, but there are 5 pretty core principles, right, that I think we should all know. And that's probability, expected value, house edge, variance, and RTP, return to player. Those are the kind of the governing principles of around all of gambling, right? And again, I'm not going to ask you to do calculus, especially at the tables, right? But I want you to understand those numbers because they are running the show. Those things run the show, whether you know it or not. Probability, and we'll do a deeper dive on probability in the letter P. But there's P and O and P, probability and odds. They're a little bit different, but probability is just the chance of something happening. That's all that it is. It's just, you flip a coin, it's literally 50-50 shot, right? The 4 versus the 7. It's 3 ways to roll a 4, it's 6 ways to roll a 7. That's the probability of it, right? 2 to 1, right? That's the odds of the 4 beating the 7 are a little different. And I think a lot of people kind of get that wrong. But anyway, gamblers get sloppy with probabilities, right? Because you don't know all of them. And I don't think you can know all of them, but you should know the bigger ones. For example, we talk about this play all the time. In blackjack, you got a 16 against a 10, right? The play is to hit. What's the probability? Does anybody in chat, by the way, know the probability of you busting on that play? What's the probability that you bust on a 16 versus a 10 when you're hitting a 16? You know what? I mean, just put it out there if you know the answer. The actual answer to that is 62%. You're going to bust 62% of the time. You're like, Jesus, why am I going to take a hit when I'm going to lose 62% of the time? Well, the reason of it, right, is because the dealer, right, their probability of making a hand if you stay is 77%. So if you don't take the hit, you're giving them, it's a 15% swing, right? A 77% chance that they make their hand. That's why you hit. It's not because it feels good, right? Or because it's because 62% is better than 77%. They both suck. Both options suck, right? But you got to know that. Know the probability of what's going to happen to you versus what's going to happen with them. And that's why we make those moves, right? When I start digging deep into blackjack later on, in not this series, but later episodes, later series, we'll start breaking that stuff down and understanding why you make the moves that you make. It's interesting, right? The actual math of what's expected to happen, I think, should drive some stuff, even if it doesn't feel good. Okay. EV, expected value. That's what a bet is worth. Oh, I'm not on the next page. Why is it doing the wrong? Oh, I guess we are. EV, or expected value, is just what a bet is worth over time. It's the number that tells you whether a bet makes money or loses money in the long run. Now, of course, every bet in the casino essentially is a negative expected value. There are some positive EV bets, right? You want those, right? The negative EV, you're paying for entertainment. And we got to realize that, right? Go in eyes wide. I can't do it. Eyes wide open. You're paying for entertainment. It's super important to understand that, right? Every bet in the house is a negative EV. $10 bet on red in black in roulette, it's a negative 53 cents. Every time you make the bet, you're giving them 53 cents. Just know that before you start it, right? That's why we say it's not investing when you put your bets down. Casino gambling is not investing, right? It's spending. And you got to know ahead of time what you're spending, right? Coupled with EV, the house edge is that piece, that little cut that expresses a percentage of each bet. Blackjack with perfect basic strategy is about 0.5%, right? Craps pass line 1.4, roulette 5.26, Keno 25%. Like it's the hold. It's what's the casinos taking off every bet. It's the tax that you pay, right, for the privilege of playing, right? And what kills me is this: players will, and I know this to be true, and you probably do too, right? People will drive across town to the gas station that's 3 cents a gallon difference, right, to fill your tank, right? 10-gallon tank, 3 cents, 30 cents you're saving to drive all the way across. You probably burn 30 cents getting there, right? But that same person will go to the casino and play 6 to 5 blackjack on the strip, right? Super penny wise here, super pound foolish over here. It doesn't make any sense when you know that you're giving up almost 2% in edge on that, on that little decision, right? So know your probabilities, know the EV, all right, know the hold. The next math term is variance, okay? And this is my favorite one, right? Because variance is where we live. It's how wildly the results that you see spread around what's expected, right? It's why you can play a negative EV game and still win today, right? It's why you can play perfect and still get your ass handed to you. Both can be true. Variance is the swing in the short run. You're not going to see, likely in Baccarat, every hand bounce back and forth, player banker. That shoe may not come out 75 to 75 perfectly. It might come out 64 to, whatever, 81. What side of that are you on? That's variance. And it happens in every game every day. And it explains why you win sometimes and why you lose other times. And you can win making some dumbass decisions, and you can lose making the best decisions ever. It just is what it is, right? But variance is where the money really changes hands, okay? And again, blackjack, small variance, right? Smaller swings, more predictable sessions. Keno, huge swings, right? It's like all or nothing kind of a thing, right? Neither's better or worse. In the end, you're going to win or lose what you're supposed to. You need to match it though, right? Match your variance to your bankroll, right? The games you're playing and your personality. If you like that big swing, play a high variance game. If you like playing the here in the middle, right? Go play blackjack. I say this all the time. These guys that give me shit on my channel about you got to play the pass line max odds, lower the house edge. You guys are playing the wrong game. Don't play craps. Go play blackjack. If you really care about house edge, play blackjack, not craps, right? Craps is a social entertainment game. Those of us who play it religiously play it because it's fun and we know that we're giving up extra money. It just is what it is. You got to, again, eyes wide open, be honest with yourself, okay? Now, the last one here, RTP, return to player, is the flip of the house edge, right? A slot machine with a 95 RTP keeps 5% for the house. You can expect 95% back, right? It's a better way of saying we're stealing 5%, in other words, right? Video poker with 99.5% return to player, they keep 0.5%. When someone tells you a machine's paying back 97%, they're just saying the house edge is 3%, right? Sounds better. It's just a flip of saying what it is. Same information, different framing. You don't got to calculate it. Just know it, right? Know the game you're playing, know the edge you're playing, and know what variance you're facing or what variance is possible. That's another way of saying that too. It's not optimal knowledge, right? It's to me, that's the entry fee to playing in the casino, being smart. Okay. All right. Next up, we have the Martingale, which makes all the sense in the world, right? You double your bet after every loss. Eventually you're going to win, right? After all, the probability says that. Even on the 4, right? You have 3 ways to win a 4. You have 6 ways to lose on the 4. Eventually that 4 is going to come, right? The Martingale person says, I'm going to hit a 4 before I see 1 4 or 1 10, before I see 7 or 8 sevens. That's the thing, right? And of course, for every 6 sevens, you should see 3 4s. You're not going to see 6, 7, 8 sevens without seeing a 4, right? We've all thought about it. Everybody, like, you watch a video where somebody's martingaling and they never lose. You're like, I should totally do that, right? It works, right? And again, how it works. You bet 10 and you lose. You bet 20 and you lose. You bet 40, you lose. You bet 80 and you finally win, right? That's like you double every time. You collected $80 in the last bet. And what that does, it gobbles up all your losses because your total losses were 10 plus 20 plus 40. That's 70. You win 80. You're up 10. You won $10. You lost 3 times in a row. You still won $10, right? That's the magic of the martingale. And it seems like it's airtight, especially, when you think about probabilities, it has to at some point come to me, right? But the martingale doesn't account for variance. And that's the problem, right? Eventually you think you got to win a hand, right? You don't have to win anything, right? You can get 10, 12, 13 losses in a row. I've seen it happen. Right? If I was martingaling the don't pass, by the way, the night that the guy rolled 6 11s in a row, I'd have been broke. I'd have probably burned a couple $1,000 that night, right? Because weird shit happens. And that's the thing that the martingale doesn't account for, is the weird shit happening. It fails because you're not playing with infinite money like the casino is. You're also not playing on a table without a maximum. So let's run some more math, right? You start with a $10 bet. You got 10 grand. Right? Should be enough. And it goes 10, 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, 640, 1280, 2560. That's 9 losses in a row. Okay. Your next bet would need to be 5120, 5,120 to continue. Okay. You've already lost 5,110. Your entire bankroll is locked up in that last hand. In fact, more than your bankroll. You bought in for 10. We're talking about $5,230 here. You're over your bankroll. Okay. Committed to winning $10. Okay. Think about that. $5,000 to win 10. And a newsflash, 9 losses in a row isn't like a once in a lifetime thing. Like that shit happens all the time, especially in even money games, right? It happens once every 500 or so. There's math on this, right? About every 500 times it happens. You're playing 60 times an hour. You could see 9 in a row in a weekend. Ken will tell you, Ken from Kendo's Gambling will tell you, he's gotten to level 8 a few times, right? When he was gambling for a living and he's got his entire, right? The envelope is wide open on the table and he needs the rent money. And he's at level 8 in the martingale. Can you imagine the pucker factor, right? And also, most tables won't let you make the bet, right? Table max here in Washington, $500, right? If I wind that back, 10, 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, and I'm done. That's it. I'm at table max. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get 5 levels of martingale for a $10 bet here in the state of Washington, and I'm done. That's it. I'm at max. I'm beyond what I can do to make my money back. I got to win 2 in a row now, not just 1 in a row, right? Table maximums will get you, right? $2,500 is pretty average, right, on the strip for a $15 game. Good luck with that, right? The system itself will break down before the bankroll does. And what it actually does, if you think about it, it converts a lot of small wins, right? And then you get this catastrophic loss, and you feel like you're a genius, right? You're winning all the time. And let's wind it back to that $500 or that $5,000 example. You could win. Think about this on a $10 martingale, even if it goes 8 levels, right? You could win 500 times in a row. Think about that. You could win $10 in a martingale 500 times in a row. You could be 500-0, and then the one miracle happens, and you lose the $5,000. Now you're 501, and you got nothing. Think about that, right? What if that disaster happens before the 500th one? If you catch that disaster roll on number 250, and you've won 2,500 and you burn 5K, right? One loss in a martingale wipes out everything because it's the margin is so small. Casino loves a Marty player, right? They're playing the same house edge everybody else does. They're playing it for a lot longer with maximum drama, right? And the occasional right explosion of your bankroll. Right? Be careful. Marty hides your losses, but it will eventually destroy you. And that's an important thing. The math will catch up to you. At some point, you will run out of money. The casino will never run out of money. And they will cap your bets so you can never get it back, right? You get level 9, level 10, you're at table max. You need 2, 3 wins to catch back up. It's a disaster waiting to happen, right? And there's many, many, many stories about that. Yeah, Cool Whip. The Lip local casino here in Seattle, right, has $1,000 max craps table. The other one's $500. Most of them are $500. Now it depends, on circumstance, but think about that. $500 max is a lot. Is not a lot. It's fun because you can like kind of shoot for max sometimes, but man, Marty, they'll snuff your martingale out like that. All right. Next up, we have middling. Okay. And we'll talk about it from two sides of this, right? So middling is this, the don't pass bettors, right? A lot of people think they're on the casino side, right? I've heard that you're betting with the house kind of thing, right? It's not. The casino middles every bet. The bar 12, by the way, proves that. Don't pass, comma, bar 12. What does the bar 12 mean? The 12 is a tie, okay? That's where the casino middles it, right? It drives me nuts when I hear people say don't pass bettors or betting with the house. They're not. The casino takes the opposite side of every bet, right? If I'm on the don't and you're on the pass line, they win on every come out roll. That's not a point. Every come out roll that's not a point, the casino takes somebody's money every single time. When there's a point set, if I'm on the don't, they're on the number. That's it. That's the only, they're always against you, right? Nobody's a partner with the casino, right? And that's an important thing to remember. So the house is never on your side, right? And they just created a different edge against you. And they're both negative EV, right? They're both paying the house every single time. So there's a middle to the game. In sports betting, though, you got a shot to middle the game. Okay, there's actually an advantage play to be found there. And it's worth, I think, spending a few minutes here understanding it, because this will show you how the sharp bettors, the sports sharps, how they really think, and why there's, again, I use Unabated as an example all the time. It's a great channel. They've got good software to kind of suss this stuff out and help you find it, because finding the middle is almost impossible for anybody who's a regular human. You need software for this, right? So let's just give an example, right? You bet the Chiefs, right? Picking the team, right? They're -3 on a Monday, okay? And during the week, and you bet that, right? During the week, the line moves. And by Sunday, the Chiefs are now -7. Let's say the line really shifts. Let's say like you got them at -3 and the other team's quarterback gets hurt, and now it's -7, right? Okay, so now something changed, right? You can then take the other team now at +7. What happens? The Chiefs win by 1, 2, or 3. One side of that bet wins. Little loss, but because, the juice. But if the Chiefs win by 8 or more, the other side wins and the other side loses, right? You're going to play both sides of that, right? You're going to basically tie. But in the middle of that, if the Chiefs win by 4, 5, or 6, right in the middle, right beyond the -3, beyond the -7, they win in the middle by 4, 5, or 6 points, both bets win. You found the middle in that case, right? And again, finding that middle, that butter zone is almost impossible. You got to have a bunch of books opened up. You got to really pay attention minute by minute to how lines shift. And the minute you watch ESPN and hear about so-and-so getting hurt or blah, 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 whatever, right? Bam, you got to jump in and watch that line shift, right? I'll give you a good example, a really good example. This week, the Seahawks are -3.5 for the Super Bowl. -3.5 against a team who basically played a college football schedule, okay? That line's going to move. That line is going to be 7 before the game. I guarantee that line will move to 7 before the game. There's a middle to be found in the Super Bowl this year because the teams are so disparately matched. Once people start watching film and realizing the spread between these teams, it will not be 3.5 points. It's 3.5 points today. It will not be by the time that game starts. There's a middle to be had here. Smart sports bettors are going to jump on that shit and make a ton of money. This Super Bowl is going to make a lot of money for a lot of people who actually understand the game and watch things, because that line is going to move. Okay. The initial line was too low. You watch. I'm right on this one. Not because I'm a fan. I just know how this works. The middle is there and the sharps will find it. Software will find the middle. I guarantee it. Okay. The broader lesson is this though, right? The casino is always in the middle. We have to do all this to try and find it. The casino lives in the freaking middle. That's it. They're not on anybody's side. And I think we shouldn't be there either. So you want to make sure you can recognize when that's a possibility, right? Ken says, follow the sharps, right? I'm not counting my chickens, but what I'm saying, Randall, is this. This game is not as close as the initial line is. The initial line is too thin. It's gonna spread, and the money's gonna dictate where that line goes. The middle is going to be had here. I'm sure the middle is going to be had in this one. It's funny that this example is the one that I used. I think it's going to be a thing this week. I think you're going to see in the next 2 weeks, the middle is going to be really exposed here. It'll be fascinating to watch where the line goes. And again, it's not about, to me, being a homer. It's about 3.5 is not the right line, right? I think the line's going to move quite a bit. So if it does move quite a bit, this exact example, that middle 3, 4, 5 in the middle there is going to be very, very interesting to play. So, all right. Next up is money management. I don't want to spend an hour of time here. I could spend hours on this. Ken did a great video. Ken from Ken Knows Gambling. Here he is. He says, follow the sharps there, right? Both times. Ken did a great show. Was it Friday, Ken? Your money management show? When you did the big four? Great episode, by the way. Bankroll management, we did this in the Bees, is part of the solution at the table, right? Money management as a bigger picture before, during, and after, I think is a bigger talk, right? We've done bankroll management in letter B. Knowing your total gambling fund and sizing your bets appropriately at the table. It's essential, but it's not everything, right? So money management itself, right? Envelopes outside of the casino, it's the complete system, right? It's for how gambling money flows in and out of your life, okay? So we'll start with a question, right? And the answer, honestly, right, is the money that you gamble with completely separate from the money you live on, right? And I'm not trying to be super negative with this question, but do you pull money out of your savings? Money you really don't need to live on. Do you pull money out of your savings account, your regular savings to go to the casino with? Or do you, like me, have a separate bank account with a separate debit card that's literally just for gambling? It's just your gambling money that you never even see unless you're leaving town. Do you live like that? It's an important thing, because I think real money management starts with a wall, a brick wall. Gambling money over here, life money over here. It means to me a separate account. In mine, by the way, and I've said this to you before, my gambling account, not only is it a separate account, it's in a separate bank. It's a different bank. I cannot transfer. I will not allow myself to transfer money from my regular savings account to my gambling account. I have to go in ATM withdrawal and ATM deposit over here if I want to move money between those accounts. I cannot do it. I set up the wall so thick that I can't break through it. Okay. I watched my dad do that and burn it all, right? You got to make the wall exist, and it's got to be real for me. I can't, if there's nothing you hear in this entire series, hear that. Separate money for gambling and a separate account in a separate bank with a separate debit card. If you're going to be serious about this, or if you're going to even go once or twice a year, you've got to separate it. Okay. Now let's talk about the flow of money. How do you fund that separate account? Where's it come from? Right? Comes from entertainment budget, right? For me, for a while, it came from a big win that I had early in my life. Like, boom, I moved it over here, right? And I gambled on nothing for a long ass time. I've done that a couple of times, but I've taken some side jobs, do a website for a guy, pays $5,000 into the gambling account. It goes, right? Like some side hustle money. I know people who actually drive Ubers for gambling money. Like they have a regular job and they go and they drive Uber, they do Uber Eats. That extra money goes into that gambling account. They do that, right? Pay the price of driving people around all the time so that when they go to Vegas, they got some money they don't care about, right? People drive Ubers to pay off bills. Some people drive Ubers to go gamble, whatever. It's a separate source, right? It's a separate source. It's not from credit. It's not from, I'll replace it when I win. It's not from, it was for my kid's college, so I don't need it for my mortgage. College is until next year. We'll just take $1,000 out of that account and go gamble. No, right? Great Wall of China, right? Handling wins is an important piece to consider too, right? When your bankroll grows, what's the rule? What's the rule? Some players take a percentage of, what they won and grow the bank around, grow the bank out. Some people hit milestones and take some profit out of that. Like some to the bank, some to the gambling account, some to my life, right? I'm going to go buy myself a car or whatever, right? Some people just grow the gambling account and then move up in stakes. For example, if your master bank account is $10,000, you're probably buying in for about 1,000 most times, right? If you can get lucky and get on a run and make it 15,000, now you can buy them for 1,500. And now your bets, instead of being 25, your bets are 50. You follow? You can compound your buy-in and your bet size and have the same amount of luck, but the profits become bigger in dollars because you can compound things, right? So if you do that, that's fine, right? If you don't do something like that, a plan to either increase your buy-in and your stakes or leave your bank account, you're buying the same, but pull your profits out, all you're doing, right, is making your wins become future losses. Okay. I think also when you handle loss the same way, your bankroll shrinks down. What happens? What happens? Your bets have to come down. Your buy-in has to come down. Your bankroll was 10 grand and now it's 3,500. Guess what? You're buying in for $500 or 350. You're not buying in for 1,000 anymore, right? You have to make sure that you use that account to kind of dictate how you're playing and what it is. Do you reload that account from your real life money? That's a leak, right? Do you scale down your bets to match the new reality? That's discipline, right? Do you chase it back with higher stakes? Oh shit, I'm down from 10 grand to 3,500. Maybe I should be betting $500 a time and win that thing back quickly. That's how a recreational gambler becomes a problem gambler, okay? Session budgets stay within the bankroll. Your total bankroll might be 10. Doesn't mean you buy in for 10. Session buy-ins are some fraction of that total. And that's what we talked about in letter B, bankroll management. Money management to me is respecting that fraction, even when you're tempted to reload the whole account. Okay. The players who gamble for decades are airtight this way. That's what separates them, by the way, from the rest of us, right? Gambling stays in the box, the lock box of Al Gore's fame, right? Wins and losses stay in that box. Life finances are untouched. It's sheltered, regardless what happens at the casino. Okay. Players who flame out, the wall was never there. Or they let the wall crumble. Either way, right? So money management really goes beyond, I think, what you bet. It's that wall. It's about how you handle wins and losses and how you handle the reload process, reloading that bank account. If you don't have structure, like I said before, without structure, your wins just become your future loss. All right. Next up is markers. Now, this is interesting, right? Markers are a line of credit, right? Line of credit at the casino. If you use it right, it's a convenience. If you use it wrong, it's a fast track to Tank Town, right? And let me define what it is, right? It's a lot of confusion with markers, right? Marker is a line of credit that the casino extends to you. It's backed by your bankroll, by your bank. If you had the separate account, right, you apply to the casino for credit with a marker. They check your credit, they check your bank account, they tie into your bank account directly, right? And they approve you to some limit. When you sign a marker at a table, you're basically writing a counter, like a check. You're writing like a cashier's check against your bank account. It's almost like a direct withdrawal, right? The casino fronts you the money. You have a set period, 30 days to pay it back up. That's how markers work. It's very simple, right? I got 10K in the bank. Casino gives me 10 grand in credit. I go to the table, give me a marker for $1,000. They give me 1,000. Now my bank account has 9,000 in it. That's exactly how this works, right? You have 30 days to pay it back. You can pay it back right there. You take that grand, you win two. Cool. Give them back the $1,000. Your marker's paid off. Okay. It's convenience in that respect, right? Now remember this though, right? In Nevada and other jurisdictions, right? An unpaid marker can be prosecuted as fraud, check fraud, right? You can face criminal charges over that. So it's not like it's a gift, right? And it's dangerous, obviously, because you're at the table. You can give me another 1,000, give me another 1,000, right? And it can keep tapping your bank account. Why would anybody do that? Well, the one reason I think, well, there's two, but the main one is security, right? If you have a big marker, let's say your marker's 25 grand, right? Walking around a casino with 10 or 15K in your pocket, you're a target, especially if you're a woman or an older gentleman, right? You got 15 grand. What are you going to do? What are you going to do in the parking lot, right? You don't got to carry stacks of cash throughout the casino, right? At 2:00 in the morning. Markers, right? They keep that line sort of set, I think, right? Convenience is a thing too, right? You don't have to go to the ATM. You're not running the cage. You're not carrying a bunch of cash. You just show up, sit down, sign, and play. It's easy. Make it easy. Because it's easy, it's dangerous, right? I think separating your money is a way to kind of stay with good money management. Markers can help you do that, but you got to make sure that you separate. Okay, keep that clean wall. And if you use it like that, I think markers can be a good tool for a disciplined player. The risk, of course, is that it removes friction. When you hand over cash from the ATM, you feel it leave your hands, right? When you sign a piece of paper and they throw you chips, it's like magic, right? And the psychological distance that you get between that, it makes it easier to play more or crazier than you intended. So you got to really, markers are for people who have extreme discipline. But again, to me, the security thing, I think, is a thing. So it's a tool. If you have discipline, it's a great tool. It's a disaster or dangerous, I think, for anybody else. So that's the marker. That's the marker talk. Consider it if you've got a lot of money and you don't want to walk around with it. That's the one piece of it I think that's most important. So, all right, what's next? Next is mental strength, and I think this one is kind of tough because all of us have varying levels of mental strength. I think, right? You can't control the cards, right? You can't control the spin of the wheel, all that stuff, right? But you can train your brain to work under pressure. And I think that's an edge that nobody can take from you, right? We talked about this battle between the casino and the player a lot, but I think there's a bigger battle, not a bigger battle, but a big battle is happening at the same time. And it's you versus yourself. Ken says this is a you problem, right? And this is a battle that a lot of us lose, right? And I think mental strength, it's not really a personality trait that you're born with. it's not a detriment if you don't have mental strength, because you can train for it, you can learn for it, right? You can build that up. And here's a couple of tools that I think we can build together. Okay. One is going to be this idea of recognition, how to help you catch problems before they become bad, right? Before your sessions, right? Do a quick check-in. Like, am I feeling okay? Like, did I sleep good? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I hungover? Am I pissed? Am I stressed? Am I bitchy? Am I still angry about what happened yesterday at the casino, right? If any of those answers are wrong, you got a decision to make, right? Maybe you don't play that. Maybe you don't have to play. Nobody's making you play, right? Or maybe you play something for a short term, go to bubble, play lower stakes for a little bit just to kind of get the juice out of your system. But that decision, right, made with open eyes, instead of discovering mid-session that you weren't in the right headspace, is a big step that it for us to take, right? At the table, right? Learn your physical tells, right? I'm not talking about what other people see. I'm talking about like how you feel. Like I told you before, when I do this, I know I'm about to go on tilt, right? Some people sweat, rip your chips harder, start doing the shuffle thing, right? Those are you telling yourself it's time. And you got to learn how to pay attention, pay attention to that, right? There's a reset tool, right, that you can build. Break the spiral once it starts, right? Take that breath, 4 seconds in, right? Hold it and come out, right? Just reset a little bit. It sounds like, yoga hooey, right? But there's a real physiology here, right? Your nervous system, right, needs to kind of you can't be in fight or flight mode all the time. And when you breathe slow, it overrides that response a little bit, right? A 5-second rule can help you too, right? Before you make a big bet or really increase things, take 5 seconds and just think, not calculate your odds, but check in with yourself a little bit, right? Just check, do I really want to do this big ass bet? Is this what I'm really after? Like those mental reset tools that you have, when you recognize that you got to have a way to kind of just kind of give it a second and breathe. And if you're in trouble, stop, get up, get out, disconnect. None of that means the next hand's going to be a loser or a winner. It just means you're in a bad place and you're going to make bad decisions when you're in a bad place. All right. Now, preparation, as you know, from if anybody's a golfer, you've read the books, right? Athletes do this, right? Amateurs and professionals prep, right? Do you visualize what's going to happen, right? Do you see yourself down and how you respond? Do you see yourself being calm? Do you see yourself sticking to your limits? Do you see yourself being disappointed but in control? Do you see yourself up, double of your buy-in and making a good decision? Do you see yourself walking away with profit instead of giving it back? Do you visualize all that stuff, right? Pro athletes do this all the time. It's a rehearsal for what you want to have happen. And it's not always good. When I'm down, I want to have happen that I stop playing and limit that some, right? That's an important bit, I think, for me. So, again, preparation, visualization, being ready for what's about to happen. Those are all tools that you can build and take little steps in it, right? Give yourself a challenge. Today, when I go in, if I am down X, I'm going to literally walk away. And not because, it's going to save your money today. It's practice, right? I've given you the challenges before. Right? Go win $10 and leave. I dare you to go win $10 and leave. Not because I want you to win $10 or lose money on the way with gas. It's to build the muscle, right? It's important. Reviewing yourself post-session, another skill you can build, right? Over time, that builds strength. After your session, ask yourself, when did I feel pressure? When did I hold my discipline? Or when did I break my discipline? Or when did I feel like I should be using discipline, right? Not to torture yourself, but it's training data, right? You're getting to know who you are better so you can perform better in the future, right? Mental strength, it's not something that most people just inherently have. You build it, right? You train for recognition. You train for how to reset yourself. You train and you prepare. And that's an edge, I think, that over time compounds. Again, it's not about paying for the gas, right? Going to the casino and winning $10 and leaving is not about making money. And this is what gets confused. But when I give that challenge out, everybody's like, oh, it's not worth my time. It is worth your time, right? The 10 times that you do that, you're going to lose money because you're going to waste money in gas and food and all that kind of shit. I get it. It's about it's building up the muscle that says I can leave when I'm up a certain amount, whatever that amount is. Keeping the amount low means you can do it 30 days in a row. Okay. Yeah, it's going to cost you money. It's like going to school. It's going to cost you money to get there. More money in gas to get there. It's about the exercise. It's not about the money. Disconnect from the money. Got me? All right. Next up, last up, I think it's last one, is mindset. Okay. Mental strength gives you those tools. Mindset is knowing when and how to use the tools, right? So think about it this way. You've learned how to recognize, right? But the mindset makes you actually pause. It's the actual, I recognize that now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause and use that skill when I'm up the $500 and I feel like I can't lose, right? Your brain is screaming, stay in. Let me check in, right? But you learn how to reset. Okay, reset. Mindset is what makes you humble enough to say, yes, I need a reset here. It's easy to tell yourself that you're okay. You're in control. You don't need a break. But mindset is where you're honest with yourself, to recognize when you're lying to yourself. Okay, you practice preparation, but mindset is what makes you honor it when you're there, right? That preparation when you're in the moment and your emotions want to override everything, you got to be able to override that. You set a loss limit at home. Now you're at the table. You're at the loss limit. You want to stay. Your mindset carries the water, right? Strong mindset. So I'll break down what healthy gambling mindset looks like. It means understanding, again, a full healthy gambling mindset. Understand most gambling has a negative expected value. You're not investing, you're spending. The money you bring to the casino should be mentally categorized as the same money you spend on a concert or a good dinner or whatever. It's entertainment, it's not investment. That's number one. It means accepting that wins are fortunate, not owed to you. You're not due anything. The universe does not balance your ledger, right? When you win, enjoy it. Be grateful for the variance. When you lose, accept it as baseline. That's just the way that it is, right? It means knowing your results don't validate or invalidate your decisions. You can make the correct call and lose. You can make the wrong play and win. Judge yourself on the decision that you made. I did the right thing, not the result that happened from it. You start doing that, now you're playing that you against yourself game and you're going to lose, okay? So to describe a dangerous mindset, right? Be honest with yourself about whether you recognize any of it, right? Believing you're a winning player without evidence. Do you keep records? Showing short-term profits? Do you know whether you're actually winning as often as you think you are, right? Treating gambling money different from real money by saying things like, I'm playing with house money, or it's just my gambling bankroll. It's not real money. It's monopoly money. I've heard people say it's monopoly money. It's not. It's actual money. That kind of mental accounting to me is dangerous stuff. Every dollar is real, whether you won it 10 minutes ago or worked for it last week, right? Your mindset, I think, isn't fixed. Or you can imagine, or you can examine your beliefs all the time. You can catch yourself in a dangerous pattern and you can adjust. Your mindset is a growth mindset, right? I'm better at this than I was because I'm not perfect yet. The yet is kind of the thing. That's the mastery of it, right? I think mindset, like I said here, is mental strength in action, right? You build the tools for mental strength and you apply them with positive mindsets. And I think that's an important piece of it. So there you go. That is the, I think that's the letter M. And again, some notes here, right? Math isn't optional. Probability, expected value, house edge, variance, RTP. Those 5 numbers are running the show, whether you acknowledge them or not. Okay. The martingale is not a system. It's a trap. It hides your losses behind little tiny wins until the inevitable losing streak wipes you out. The math doesn't care how elegant a progression is. It's just going to take care of itself. The casino, by the way, doesn't care. They have unlimited money. They also don't have any allies. They middle everything. Pass bettors, don't pass bettors, red, black, player, banker. Every bet is structured so that the house wins on either side, right? There are holes in the middle, though, in sports especially, that you can exploit, okay? Money management, I think, keeps gambling in its little box. Markers, again, can be a tool or a trap depending on how you use them. Mindset and mental strength are tools you can build and use. Okay, we'll do the letter N the next time. So there we go. All right, that's all that. Let's head out here and do some Q&A. I have a few minutes. Oh God, I'm late. I'm always late for my damn meetings. Let me look at Q's and eights and see what's going on. So if I do Q's, skill, do I like to do we don't and why? I hate the do we don't. I think do we don't is one of the worst things. It doesn't help anything. All it does is set you up to do an odds play. Do we don't is like all you're gonna do is play for free odds. And like I told you before, if you're playing the do we don't so that you can put odds on the don't or odds on the right side, so they can be quote unquote free odds. I told you earlier, even if you're gonna play the game against a casino with every bet paid true odds, you'd still lose your ass. You'd still lose because you don't have enough money to last. You will lose your money. That's just what it is. I don't like the do we don't. I just don't. I can see it as a tool. Do we don't to get a point, odds on the don't to get a don't come through, and now you're playing the don't from one side. I get it. That's the old Patrick system. Trust me. Unless you're playing with blacks and purples, that's a recipe for disaster. It just is. All right, Nexus Blackjack app will be ready tonight and tomorrow. We're working through it. Should have that ready. This week, we're going to be releasing everything out there. So there's that. Let's see. Casino Quest. Waylon's mad at Casino Quest. It's okay. You're funny, dude. They don't hate you. I know that. It's just whatever. I think there was a little conflict out there about a year ago between Waylon and Casino Quest. There shouldn't be any hard feelings, right? It's just people say shit and people say shit back, and there you go, right? Again, well, I'll run the middle on that one because you're my boy. I love you, Waylon, and of course I work for Casino Quest, right? So there it is. I think they're coming around, James. They're coming around on my side. The bridge, the being careful with your money has become a force majeure over there. Trust me. So there it is. What do we have here? I'm looking at other stuff. Age-old question. Let's see. He's right. You know it. I don't see anything else. Are there any PCs in here? No PCs directly to me. All right. So yeah. So Waylon, I might give you a call today, and we'll talk about that because I know there's some feelings in there for sure. But yeah, we'll talk about it. I don't think. I think people say things, and they'll use an example as a negative example without trying. It's sometimes you can be like negative about a thing, but not about the person, right? I don't think there's anything personal there. But I'll give you a call later on today, dude. I owe you a phone call anyway, and this seems like a great time to do it. So, all right, love y'all. I gotta get out of here. Oh, you know what? We'll do one more thing, and then I gotta go. Let's do the last slide is this one. My inspiration for the week. Last week was the steamroller one. This one here is cool. I heard Richard Sherman say this on a podcast. I love this mob mentality quote, mission over bullshit. That's great. So that just tells you, right? Like it's all about mindset, right? Stay on task. Stay on task, stay on task, stay on task. That's what it means. Stay on task. Don't let the periphery bug you. And Waylon, for you too, stay on task, right? Your mission is what? Your mission is to teach. Your mission is to teach your way, talk about money management, help people win money. Stay on mission. Don't let the bullshit get in your head. Don't let the bullshit change the mission. The mission is the mission. Got it? That's so important, man, for everybody. I will talk about the raffle here soon, Louis. We're still in the same spot, right? Where I got to either reignite it or something. The problem with the raffle again is we set a minimum for the felt, and we didn't hit the minimum. So money was donated for the raffle that we didn't get enough money in. So I'm going to have to probably match that. So my gambling account's going to shrink a little bit while I put money in to match the minimum, and then we'll draw the raffle, and that's how we'll do it. So it's going to take me a minute to get through that, and I got to talk to Gargoyle about it. So, all right, you guys, I got to go. Peace out. Have a great day. Love y'all, and God bless. Bye. Yeah, it's underfunded. I have to go and pull money. I've got to match the money. That's how it's going to be. I told you I was going to do it, and I will. So that's going to happen. Yeah, too high. We set it too high. It's my fault. It's my fault. And but you know what? The money goes to charity anyway. So I'll cover the difference, and we'll get it out there, and we'll get it done soon. All right, love y'all. Bye.